Okay, going live. Boom. There we are. Radio voice cuts in. Podcast voice cuts in. So I'm doing a live because I can't figure out doing anything else right now, which is weird. So we'll see how this goes. Hang on. I don't know. Oh, there's someone. Hi there. How you doing? I've just started, so I wasn't really paying much attention to anything. I don't have anything to talk about. I'm doing that thing where I just need to get going on something. You know, I'm supposed to make videos over on YouTube. There is a YouTube channel for those of you who don't know called Early Morning Barking. It's like this, but it has longer videos because that's YouTube, isn't it? And I'm supposed to have videos come out Monday, Wednesday, Friday. That's the plan anyway. Today is Monday. There's supposed to be a video. And I've not done one yet because I can't quite get my head around it. So what I can do is turn this on and start talking. It's easier to do that way. How y'all doing anyway? How y'all doing? Checking out the live stream. And I imagine many people getting home from work or traveling home from work. Who am I even talking to at this point? It's one of those ones. So yeah, I needed to just talk about anything related to BPD, NPD. I can do trauma today. I've had trauma. That's been a fun one. It's amazing how quickly your mind can get thrown back to trauma, to reliving something, whatever. I don't know. Is that a PTSD thing? Can you have? I don't know. I hesitate to throw that around as much as it's thrown around. Right. There are things I have trauma about. Is it fair to label it all PTSD? No, but there are some things like, so what I've had today is flashbacks. I had a flashback. That's what that was. Holy whatever. Yeah. Can I swear on TikTok? What are the rules there, by the way? I'd like to swear on TikTok. I generally swear everywhere, but you know, these platforms dislike that. I'm drinking coffee too. That's the thing that's happening. So yeah, I had a flashback. God, that's just hit me. That's what it was. Right. So here was the thing. It was about a lost dog, or a dog that died, rather. A few years ago, my dog Barkley, not the dog on the picture. That's my dog Paisley. Different dog. The dog we had before Paisley was Barkley, and he died because dogs grow old and die, and he lived his life. He died perhaps a bit younger than he should have, but you know, he lived his life. But it's something that, you have that connection with dogs. We had him from 4 weeks old. It was like losing a child. And today I was out in town and walked past on the street the vet who dealt with it all when it happened. And that just, boom, straight away, just threw me back to it, which was bizarre. Not something I was thinking about today, I'll be honest. And it brings up a lot of strong emotion. And God, it's a normal thing to have gone through. I think the extreme that I feel with it is a BPD thing, right? I think that's where it comes from, that extreme emotional reaction. And it just pushes you over the edge. And since, you know, the ironic thing was, I went for a walk to clear my head. I had a slow start to the day. I got up late because I went to bed late because I was playing with various video apps on my phone, for God's sake. Went for a walk to try and perk myself up because annoyingly that works. I hate that, but it does. Going for a walk works. So I went for a walk and ended up like emotionally crushed, devastated, and having flashbacks. So what the hell? I hate it. I absolutely hate it. And it's that emotional volatility that comes with BPD. And it's an inconvenience to me now. Right? That's where it is. Um it's an inconvenience to me. This is not something I want, like, I don't know, necessarily sympathy for or taking into account. I don't need trigger warnings and crap like that. Can I say that word? I don't want that. It's an inconvenience to me. I don't want to feel these strong emotions. And there's a lot about BPD that's upsetting and distressing and all of that, but this bit of it pisses me off. That's the best way of putting it. It just pisses me off. And I hate that. I just absolutely hate it. Um, yeah. So I've had that today, and I could live without it. To be perfectly honest, I could live without it. Um, it's really annoying, and the same goes with like all the crying and shit like that. When I posted that video the other day of me like almost crying in the car or getting ready to cry in the car, I don't want to. Right? This is I hate it. It is debilitating. It is just something that happens to me. I don't have anything to do with it. And if I could just stop it, I would just stop it because it's fucking annoying. There. Oh, I think. Can I say that? I don't know. Honestly, I need to look up guidelines for swearing on TikTok. Let's do that because I don't want to think about my trauma. Um, what are you saying in the chat room there? Sure, I have NPD, but I get told this. A narcissist doesn't know they're a narcissist. A narcissist does know can know they're a narcissist. That's generally we don't. You kind of think that you are there. 16 is very young for that. I hate to say that. Which is not meant to be dismissive of what you're saying or feeling at all. Everybody starts out narcissistic. Everybody. As babies, we are narcissistic because it is in our interest to be so. Right? From an evolutionary standpoint. Look at me, pay me attention, all of that. It is beneficial to a baby to have those qualities. And indeed to young children as we grow up. And as we grow up and become adults and come out of adolescence, sort of 18, 21 and beyond, we shed these narcissistic tendencies. We grow out of them. But they're there in everybody. And what happens to someone with NPD is trauma in that late adolescence that causes them to sort of stay in that period. For me, it was sort of 17, 18 years old, and I have very adolescent attitudes to various issues and topics as a result that I have to work on. And so when you're looking at somebody, when you're talking about worrying about this at the age of 16, it's entirely feasible you have narcissistic tendencies, qualities, whatever. That's the thing. But as yet, you have yet to have that chance to grow out of them, and you might have them now, but it doesn't mean that they're staying with you, right? However, what I would say about anything that anyone's going through, if you can talk to somebody, do talk to somebody. If there's something you're worried about, if there's something that is concerning you, then definitely talk to somebody if you can. I can swear. Oh, that's good to know. Yeah, you're not literally a god. I mean, there are certain things that you have to question, why are we thinking and believing these things? And if you're talking about being a literal god, realistically, hand on heart, we all know you're not, right? You know that. So why are you thinking that? Why are you needing to think that and feel that? Because there's clearly something else there that's pushing you in that direction. That's a massive defense mechanism right there. Um, and maybe hiding a lot of stuff. I don't know, but it's things like this is how you should sort of. That's the crack in the wall, right? You know, um, that's the crack in the wall. You're not. You can logic your way around this, right? Is it more likely? Let's be honest. Is it more likely that you've maybe got a mental health issue, or that you're the one person who's literally a god? And I think even in the most, you've got to admit that it's something worth looking into. And if you are a literal god, then that's still fine, isn't it? Right? We can look into this, and then you might find that there's further proof, whatever. But as unlikely as that is, it might be worth looking into, being sensible about these sorts of things, rather than rushing into it. You know, it's there are some things in the world that you've got to take carefully, however much you believe them to be true. Um, you know, that's one of those things, and try and take things carefully. Right? This is I'm reminded constantly of the people who, for whatever reason, might believe they can fly and jump off buildings. And no, if you truly can fly, then take off from the ground. You don't need to jump off something, do you? So and all of these things, attempt to take off from the ground. And if you can fly, you can do that, right? If you can't do it, and you can't fly, can you? And that's one of those things. But if you can talk to someone, then absolutely, totally, without question, talk to someone. Seek help, And if you're talking about um, having a diagnosis, then you clearly are talking to someone, which is good. And I would urge you to continue that. And ultimately, look, don't anybody take my advice for anything entirely on its own. I'm just a fucking idiot with a microphone and a camera, right? I'm not a trained professional. I just have BPD and MPD and God knows what else. And a wonderful knack for talking about such things. By the way, is everybody here subscribed? Just checking. And has everyone here liked the live show? Just checking there as well. That would be great if you could. What else? My girlfriend has BPD. Is there anything I can do to support her and be there for her? Understand, which, if you're following me and coming to watch this, you're clearly making an effort, which is brilliant and amazing. Make sure you have boundaries regarding her behavior and what that BPD might mean. Make sure it doesn't destroy your life. It's important that you have boundaries there, and decide what you're willing to put up with or not put up with. And also, if she has BPD, she'll need help. Right? My saving grace was therapy. Hers might be therapy, it might be something else, but there's someone out there who can find her the treatment that is appropriate for her. So if she's having trouble finding that, it's like you might have to fight to get that somehow. And so that's the support that we often need. I wished that in my previous relationships, people who knew I had a problem and wanted me to fix it, and I wanted to fix it, but it was a struggle to get that help, and no one helped me to get that help. They were just angry at me for having the problems that I had and behaving the way that I did, which to a certain extent is fine, but I was asking for help. I wasn't being untreated on purpose. But I do think that it's important to, if you're in a relationship with someone with a cluster B, to see that work being done. Don't just live with it, because you don't have to just live with it. That's silly. But I understand that getting help is potentially difficult. Where else are we? Gosh, I've missed a lot of chat here. Being in a relationship with a person with BPD concerns me when bringing my son into the relationship. Understandably so. And look, it's you get a lot. I get a lot of horrid comments on here and on YouTube about people saying, "Oh, we just shouldn't bother with people with BPD then," which is hideous and not the case, right? You have to judge each individual person on their own traits and how they behave and what comes out of them. Are they getting help, etc., etc.? And I totally understand. You have to be massively more protective when there's your child involved about who they're introduced to and spend time with and all that kind of thing. Don't just take it on face value. Oh, that person has BPD. They're not able to handle this. It's something you have to discuss. It's something you need to look at in your particular case. I have BPD. My girlfriend introduced me to her kids, right? And it's been wonderful, right? And there's never ever been a single issue or problem whatsoever. So it's, who knows what's going to happen. If I was someone who was a lot more volatile and still had a lot of rage and anger and that kind of thing, then perhaps it would have been less of a good idea to have me around the kids. I don't know. I'd like to think I never would have behaved inappropriately in front of the children with anger, but yeah, it's definitely not a possibility now. All is well. So, but it would have been, I could have been written off from the beginning, but it would have been unnecessary, Where are we? I'm in a relationship and I don't know if they take my BPD obsession seriously. I don't know how to explain. It can be difficult to feel like heard and like somebody truly understands. The most frustrating ones are the ones where we're talking about a thing that is sort of like just a more extreme version of what other people experience. So, when we're just talking about like a blanket of sadness feeling, and people are like, yeah, I feel sad sometimes too. And we have to be like, no, you don't get it. You don't understand. I know you feel sad. I do. I understand that you feel sad. But trust me, that is like Bush League, amateur sad that you feel. I'm being sad in the Olympics here, right? I am being sad on a world-class competitive level, right? I am to being sad what Lewis Hamilton is to driving cars. That's where I am. That's what you don't get. And people are like, yeah, I know, feeling sad's really sad, isn't it? You're like, no, you don't get it. You don't get it. And it's awful. It's awful. Where are we? Started sertraline in Oh, drug names. Hang on. Sertraline. I know sertraline. And the other one. Quiet. Quetiapine. Feel absolutely awful. I'm sorry you felt right. Okay. As I understand it, things take every antidepressant, every medication I ever took, and I haven't taken any since 2018. But all of the ones I took apparently took a couple of weeks building up in your system before you felt fine and they started to do what it was they were to do. So if you've been put on medication, I encourage you to stay on that medication. Even, yeah, I worry, right? I don't know that you're going to go, oh, I feel awful today. I'm not taking these anymore. But I worry that people might, because I know some people do. So I'm sorry. I don't wish to sound like condescending on any at all. I just worry. As people who are in relationships with a person with BPD, we are told not to tell them they have BPD. Well, I mean, like, can you die? That's if they don't, right? You can't just tell someone they've got BPD, right? You're not qualified to do that. And you don't know, there is so much more about what is going on for a person that you would need to know to come to that conclusion. And so if a person has BPD and doesn't know they have BPD, you can't say, hey, you've got BPD, really. That's a very difficult thing. You can point them in a direction, I think. I don't know, it's a very difficult thing. It's a very difficult thing. If you suggest getting help, well, they don't see a problem. Yeah, that's a tricky thing. Always tell them what we're saying here. Okay, a GP, they can help you understand. Talk to a therapist. Just talk to someone. That's it. Talk to someone. That's my advice as much as I can. That's it. Quieter. Bringing you weird pharmaceutical names around here. Unpronounceable pharmaceuticals, damn it. I did an A-level in chemistry, you know. For 2 years, I studied chemistry at a level that was like, it's really high academically. Like an A-level is sort of academically on a par with maybe a minor in an American undergraduate degree. And I was awful at it. I got an N. That was my final grade. N. It was A, B, C, D, E, F, N, U. Like, did you get a fail? No, I worse than failed it. I worse than failed it. For it's N for not really worth it. That was the grade I got. So I can't do pharmaceutical names. But quetiapine. Quetiapine. Okay, thank you. That helps. Quetiapine. Mr. Shaw, the chemistry teacher, I'm sorry. I am genuinely sorry because I think you tried. I think you really tried, and I remember you fondly for that. And I'm sorry that what I gave you to work with was garbage. But I think looking back, we can both shake our heads and smile and say, perhaps, Rich, chemistry wasn't for you. Perhaps maybe you'd have been better off doing geography. And you'd have been less burned doing geography. That would, as a more crucial thing, A-level chemistry was a massive source of second degree burns, My dad is a chemical engineer and he's so disappointed in my chemistry knowledge. Well, you should teach you some then. Fluoxetine, I've had that one. Gabapentin, I think I'd like that one. I don't know. Honestly, I've not taken anything for years and years now. I'm so glad I don't. I'd be willing to if I thought something would actually help. But I don't think anything would actually help at this point. Maybe the BPD MPD stuff is fine. I still think I've got ADHD. Right? I still think that's a thing. Um, but I would take something for that. But getting diagnosed with that is mm. Fluoxetine. I had that for years. Um, and it was rubbish, and none of it helped. None of it did anything. Right? I was being treated for depression. That's what I was there, getting from the doctor, being treated for depression. So, I didn't have depression. There was no problem there. So they were medicating me with stuff that did nothing and keeping me on it for ages and ages. To be fair, it was probably I was on antidepressants for sort of 18 years. And it's fair to say that within those 18 years, I probably did at some point suffer from depression and probably was helped by the antidepressants I was taking at the time. However, the idea of keeping me on antidepressants for 18 years was fucking ridiculous. So yeah, when I finally came off them, and by the way, when I came off them, it was November 2018. I just stopped taking them and was fine. Now, those of you who've been on medication for a long time that actually helps them will know that the last thing in the world that you do is just stop taking it, right? When you've been on something like that for so long, you need to ramp down, and you'll be prescribed smaller and smaller doses until it's eventually safe for you to come off. I just stopped one day and was fine. And the reason why I was fine, I think, is because that medication was doing nothing in my head at all. There was nothing to crash down of. I wasn't on anything. It wasn't doing anything. So I just stopped. That is not me sitting here saying if you're on medication, just stop. I am full of safety warnings here, right? You take what you're given and like it. Where are we in the chat room? Thanks for the chats. They've been great. You're very welcome. Thank you. Don't forget to follow, subscribe. Is there something else I should be asking people to do? There's something with diamonds. Is that a thing? I don't know. As a TikTok creator, all of the things you can do here, I encourage you to do. There you go. Like, subscribe, follow, click everything, share, scream with joy, jump up and down, cuddle the dog, move the cat off that chair. It's for people or dogs. Where are we? I've been diagnosed with BPD, ADHD, autism, Tourette's, depression, anxiety, and more, but I think a lot of it is just an overlap. That's a lot. That's a lot of things you've been diagnosed with there. It must be a struggle. My heart goes out to you. Fluoxetine is usually what they prescribe for BPD patients before they have their diagnosis. Technically, that's true. It was just for a very long time. My mum's been on fluoxetine for 24 years. Bloody hell. I've heard BPD and ADHD are similar. Do you know why they are? I don't. There you go. There's the wall in my knowledge. I don't know. I understand that some of those traits are similar, and if I have both or whatever, that might be a problem. There's going to be a lot of comorbidity there, I imagine, but I don't know. And we're disagreeing there. Lots of diagnoses for a lot of people. My gosh. How do people get diagnosed with borderline and bipolar? I don't know. Oh, thank you, Vida the Delusion, sending things. Those are the things I'm supposed to ask you to send me all. That's the thing. Where are we? It's known as border polar, bipolar is much longer changes. BPD is much slower. Yeah, that's the one. All right, that's why you're sending them. Okay, thank you. Yeah. Can you talk about identity confusion or identity problems on BPD? Hell yes, I can. What if there's anything specific you want to talk about within that, shout out. But I'll just go. I was actually trying to make a video about this yesterday, but I couldn't get it to come out right. No, there it was. Absorbing personalities. Here's our issue. We don't get a personality. We don't have one. We don't develop one. We don't have an us. There's no me. I is, don't know, right? The reason being that we are so caught up in what other people think of us and whether they like us or not, that we just want to be whatever it is we think they want us to be. And so we morph from one thing to another, and we never develop things ourselves. And one thing that we do is we absorb personalities from other places, particularly like our favorite people and our like TV and movie people, right? And so we absorb these personalities, we take on these traits, and we bring them out in particular situations as and when needed, in a form of masking and self-defense, but otherwise because we don't know what to do in those situations, right? We have, like, I don't know how I'll react to something, but I might know how this character on this TV show might react to something. So if I can be like them, then that's the right reaction. And it's not my reaction, I'm copying it. I'm sort of absorbing it and taking that on because I don't have anything to fill that space. And that's what it all comes from, people pleasing, from wanting to be liked at all costs, right? It doesn't matter what we want. We want to be somebody's ideal person. And whatever is involved in that is whatever is involved in that. That's where we go with it. It's a bit sad, to be honest. But that was going to be yesterday's TikTok video. I did the splitting on your partner one instead. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. But I was kind of going through, like, what are all the personalities that I've absorbed? And working through that is part of the healing process and finding yourself a personality. I'm still working on it, right? I'm still working on it. And a lot of my personality was tied up in my old job as well, right? Part of my personality is tied up in my public persona, in being seen, in doing like this shit and previous stuff I've done before. I'm gonna put my hands down. I'm emoting a lot tonight. Gotta keep the video interesting. Otherwise, why have it in video form? And so, yeah, I was talking about identity confusion, identity problems. That's where it all comes from. We have this lack of sense of self. We don't know who we are. We don't know what we are. We don't know what we're supposed to be. We end up trying and doing all kinds of things, right? We're the ones who go through massive experimentation with regards to identity in all the ways one can do that. We're the ones who do that a lot. I feel I've been lucky in that I've never done anything too extreme. I've never drastically altered my appearance or whatever. Because the key with it is, like, whatever we try, whatever we alter ourselves to, we will regret it in a little bit. Because we're constantly shifting. We're constantly unsure. And changing it doesn't make you any more sure. It just temporarily changes things. So, for example, a less extreme of that, we might be more prone to say uh, dyeing our hair a weird color, right? That's a very BPD thing to do. Like, if I need green hair today, and if I do that, I'm going to feel so much more confident and better with myself. And then you do it, and you look at it, and you go, I don't like it. With the I don't like it guy on Little Britain, that says I don't like it, and you can see that's as bad as it is when you dyed your hair green. When you want to go back, but you could see how we could do many more other extreme things to ourselves before we get to that. Oh wait, no, this is nothing. This is not me. Whatever. I need to go back. And there are some things you can't easily go back from. There are some things you can't undo. Um, be it changes or activities you've done or whatever. But we're very prone to just going out and trying and doing extreme things to try and find that sense of identity. And I don't know. I don't feel that comes from external things like trying all these things. It comes from quiet reflection and like introspection. Try lots of things in life. Do that. But at the same time, I'm not sure that's how you find yourself. How you find yourself. You know? And this is my what do we have? This is I literally have black hair dye and I'm going to get piercing. Need to change my appearance. Yeah, this is exactly what I'm talking about. We get lots of piercings. I'm deathly afraid of piercings and of the opinion that there's no way I would look better with one, so I've avoided piercings and tattoos, that kind of thing. Um but that's the sort of thing. And again, you can see, look, a piercing you can come back from. You can decide that was a shit idea. I shouldn't have done that. And you take it out and it heals and you're fine, right? But it could be a tattoo. It could be all kinds of things. You can see this where this lack of personality problem or seeking personality. That's what we're doing. Nature abhors a vacuum, and we are by and large personality vacuums, and we're going to suck up whatever's around us in an attempt to fill this void, this empty space. And it's when you're doing that, it's not necessarily always good and appropriate stuff that gets sucked in. You might get some bad things in there. I've had that, right? I'm getting stop putting up alerts windows. I was manic and in a BPD, split right out of my house and ended up getting arrested and sectioned. I've had that day. I wasn't sectioned. I was probably quite lucky I wasn't sectioned that day, now I think about it. But yeah, I've had that day. That was the day when I finally got help, but it took a lot, and it's an upsetting story, involving turning up at my doctor's and threatening to kill myself there unless I got help. And then the day progressed downhill from there, really. Can we love, or do we just love what people do for us? We can. Right, is that a BPD or an MPD question? I mean, BPD people definitely love. Almost too much to an alarming degree. MPD people absolutely can also love. We might also love what people do for us. Um, we are totally capable of it. Some of us more than others, though. That's definitely a thing. So, one of the things with these cluster B things is there's no right or wrong answer with so much of it. Just because somebody does it doesn't mean that everyone's guaranteed to do it, and so on and so forth. It's a tricky one. I feel as though I'm in an empty shell and have to fill the gap with different pieces of others. That's the one. That's the feeling. You would defo suit a lip ring. Mm-hmm. No. No, no, no. Um, I appreciate your encouragement. Yeah, that's not happening. Nor a tattoo. I've come closer to the tattoo than I have to the piercing. The piercing's just an outright no. I'm never getting a piercing. Well, let's just accept that. That's just never happening. A tattoo I could be talked into with the right image. Because that's what it's about. It's about having an image on your body. So you need something that is so significant that you need it putting on your body. And I don't have anything like that. There's nothing that makes me feel that. So I've never really had that desire. As borderline, oh wait, no, this makes me feel invalid because I've never had an episode that bad. You don't need to have had an episode that bad. It's not a prerequisite of having BPD or any emotional problems. I'm glad you've not had an episode that bad. That's a good thing. The fact that any of us have been left to have that episode is a bad thing. As a borderline, what do you do to feel better when you get feelings of emptiness / depression? Right. I have a self-care routine and checklist, and that's important to go through. And I'm kind of in violation of it today. I foresee a takeaway in my future. That's a potential thing. But if I'm right, have I eaten enough? Have I slept enough? Okay. If the answer is no to either of those, do something about it immediately. Don't wait for meal times, don't wait for bedtimes, whatever. Have a nap or eat something now. Right? That's it. If I can sort of put either of those two things off, and I'm trying to sort of get myself back together and working again in my head, always start with a shower and generally a shave as well, because that perks you up, and then I'll go out for a walk. And it still pisses me off to admit it, because there's so many of those shit, why not go for a walk, social media posts. But the annoying thing is it really helps me generally. I know today I had that story of seeing the vet in the street, and that's by the by. Going for a walk generally helps. So if I've eaten enough and slept enough, if I'm clean, whatever, that's a good start. And nothing is going to happen without those things in place. However I'm feeling, I'm not going to start to feel happy. If the house isn't tidy, I will do some tidying. Like starting with little bits, just moving stuff and cleaning stuff. That sort of thing. Just getting myself moving and making my environment nicer. That's a good way. I could live in squalor, and I generally don't. He says, looking around, thinking, yeah, this room's a mess. So that's where I go, and try and just build up bit by bit by bit. If I'm stuck on anything, I do the little bit that I can do. We're looking at it now, right? Those of you who weren't with me at the beginning, right, when I started the stream, I'm meant to have done a main channel video for YouTube today, and I haven't done one yet. It got too much. I couldn't get my head around it. But I could do this little... I couldn't focus to plan, and I couldn't face doing something that was a bit daunting, but I could open up the TikTok app and hit go and just start talking, and here we are 45 minutes later. That's one of those things. So doing that little bit moves me on and gets me going. I still haven't done a main channel video. Obviously, I've been talking to you guys for 3/4 of an hour, which is fine, and I love it and all of that, but it's, this is what I could do, and I've done something. And so this doing something is going to help me do the next something. And I'm here on my own today, so I'm not under any time pressure as such. It's all self-imposed. I can just take my time and get things moving. This is why I hate waking up late like I did today. Can you have manic episodes with BPD or just euphoria? There are no manic episodes associated with BPD. I don't know about the euphoria either. You might mean dissociation. If you mean dissociation, yes. If you mean euphoria, then no. I don't know. Tell me more about that in the chat. What is NPD referring to? That's narcissistic personality disorder. That's the one that makes me want to take over the world. I was diagnosed with borderline personality personality disorder a month ago. It's getting worse. Have you any tips? That's I'm right. Are you getting help? Are you speaking to anyone about this? Are you seeing a therapist? Are you attempting to see a therapist? All this sort of thing. Talk to a medical professionals, the appropriate people wherever you are. If you're in the UK, it'll be your GP. That's your first step. What I found, what helped me, this is not in place of anything else. Go and see the doctor, whatever. That's a given. Oh wait, sorry. What did you say? Right, I am well behind on the chat. But the beginning of it all is to realize that the things I was doing were the result of other pain. And so instead of trying to fix the why do I have if I got angry, outbursts, rage, all of that sort of thing, it was initially seen that the problem was let's just stop having rage, right? And that's all well and good. That's great. I definitely want to stop having rage, right? But you can't just stop having rage. That rage is being caused by something else. I liken it to that rage is the crying out in pain by the person with the broken leg. And you don't tell them to shut up, you fix the leg. So if you want to start getting better with the BPD, it's not a case of looking at your symptoms, it's a case of looking at what is going on, why, and dealing with those things. That is like a 1 minute, not enough information thing about that. Right, I'm skipping over things because there's a lot and I'm very behind. Why do we attach ourselves and obsess over people who are bad for us? Why do any of us do that? They'll give us what we're looking for in one form or another. Be it self-worth of some kind or attention. I don't know. We also feel things very quickly, very much. So it's easy for us to just get right. My thing that I always did was I have an image in my head of what I want somebody to be like. So when I meet someone, I just impose that image that I have on them rather than paying attention to who and what they are. And so I'll stick with someone that's not appropriate because I'm not seeing them. I'm seeing this image in my mind of them. And it's bad. And so I can get caught up in anyone because it doesn't matter who they are. The human in front of me is a placeholder for the image in my head. Excuse me answering text messages. Excuse me and all that. I do have, yeah. How long have I been? Yeah, I'm still going here. FP is messing with my head. Her replies are so cryptic, it's doing my head in. Favorite person shit is awful. I did a TikTok on getting over your favorite person that was massively unpopular. It's tricky to do, right? The how to get better videos never do as well as the what I feel bad about videos. So I make more what I feel bad about videos. I don't know, the favorite person stuff. It's hard. It's hard. And I went through a period. I went through a period of my favorite person being someone I didn't like, or somebody I didn't want to have as my favorite person. So that made it even worse. That made it so much worse. Yeah, I see takeaway in my future. Sorry, that's the chat. I need to catch up, don't I? I have such a soft and nurturing tone. Thank you, Hulk Smash 01. That's what it says on my voiceover profile. A soft, nurturing Yorkshire tone. I am diagnosed with borderline personality disorder a month ago. Oh, sorry, right. Missed that. I'm getting... Oh, was that posted more than once? Sorry. No lobotomies, please. That's the thing. We'll all end up like Jack Nicholson in One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. That might be an upsetting film for us to watch as a group, by the way. We shouldn't... If you haven't seen that, I leave it now. Right? It's a fucking awesome movie. It really is. But it will upset you. Read the chat faster, you're so behind. Sorry, you're all typing very quickly. My partners have MPD and BPD. It's the worst. Yeah. I have BPD, DBT therapy right now for my BPD. I hope that helps. It didn't help me. I was better off with therapy. But all things help different people differently. You've got to find the right thing for you. I hope that's the right one for you. I don't think my pain will ever heal. I feel stuck with BPD. It goes into remission. Right, I'm out of therapy now. I'm discharged from that, and it's so much easier now. But will it ever leave me? I don't know at this point. How do I stop being so angry? What are you angry about? Like I was saying, what are you angry about? It's that cliche. But it's true, and it's the right question to ask. What are you really angry about? Is it the person, the store worker in front of you, or is it some deep issue that is really twisting you inside and has been for years and years? It's, you need to start looking at the thing. Like, why can't you stop being... How do you stop being angry? Why are you so angry? The question you have to ask yourself all the time. One of those things. I have to smoke to calm down. I couldn't claim to know nothing about that. Do you think Seroquel is good for people with BPD? I have no idea. I'm not a doctor. Yeah, I'm not a doctor. Thank you in the comment. I'm not a doctor. My FP has blocked me on everything, and I don't feel like I can hear anymore. The pain is horrible. It really is fucking horrible, isn't it? You have to get to a point where you don't need them, right? That's the thing with favorite people. You are getting something from them, and you can't anymore. You have to get that from somewhere else, and ideally in a healthy situation, those things that you get from your favorite person, you get from within. You do things for you. You are the person you want to be. You have the personality you naturally have. All those things, and you're getting those from your favorite person. That value, that self-worth, and all of that. And you need to find a way to have it for yourself. That's what you're really working on. It's got nothing to do with your favorite person as an individual. Right? As hard as it is, we're trying to not cut them off, but happily live without them. Okay. It doesn't mean you necessarily have to never see them again or have anything, whatever. We're not talking about drastic stuff, although clearly if they've blocked you on everything, that might not be an issue anymore. But you need to find that self-worth and start doing things for you that matter to you, which can take some time to find. There's some introspection here, some self-reflection of what does matter to you. What do you care about? What do you love? How do I deal with me wanting to completely change myself due to lack of personality? Look at where personality comes from. It's not from changing yourself. Here, right. If you have no personality, how can you change it to something else? You right? You can't change nothing into something else. If you want to change it, we're actually saying that you've got a personality in the first place. You've got something that can be changed. You're just in some way not sure of what it is or happy about it or whatever. And so it's like it's there, but it's locked away and hidden behind a curtain. And you're convinced that you don't have a personality, but you do. It's in there. You've just never found it or looked at it. And so going out and looking at random stuff and trying that's not where it is. It's inside already. You've got it. You just need to figure out what it is and coax it out. And I don't, completely changing yourself due to lack of personality. You can't do that. If you've got no personality, then you need to get one, and you've already got one. It's in there. Let's right. I'm gonna scroll past a couple of things. Will antidepressants help me with my BPD? Not a doctor. I find talking can help, but it has to be a trustworthy friend. Yes, personality comes from accepting yourself, not changing yourself. That's it. I'm at the bottom of the chat now. You can start typing again, guys. That's fine. I'm at the bottom of the chat. I mean, yeah, look, in life, try things out, do new things, experience life, live it to the fullest. Of course, definitely. But in terms of like, I don't know, changing your appearance, changing all the kinds, you can change a lot these days, right? You can decide that a lot is not how you want it and change it one way or another. And I don't know. I don't think that changing anything is the answer to finding something. Right? You might find a new thing or whatever. We're all going to find new things we like in life if we experience new things. That's the point of that, isn't it? Yeah, try doing little things that you love on your own for dealing with your favorite person things. That's the one. What's your experience with hobbies and sticking to them? Right. That falls into two categories: random obsessions and actual things I like doing. This ties into what we were just talking about, this idea that there is a personality in there, I just need to find it. Because I was always searching for a new hobby, the new thing to interest me. And I tried all kinds of things. I tried, learning to play guitar there, model making, all kinds of weird stuff. Vaping was a hobby. Vaping isn't something that should be a hobby, by the way. But for me, it was for a while. All kinds of stuff. And they all fall by the wayside. At most, they last a year. And then I'm done with them and I never care about that thing ever again. But there were some things that always stayed with me, like playing bass and playing computer games and watching F1 and all that kind of thing. And I sort of realized that those things were actually part of my personality, things I genuinely liked, because they'd always kept coming back one way or another. And so I sort of dived into those things. you know, a lot of times, Mackenzie says, a lot of times I can't even feel happy doing any of the things I know I like doing. I lost all of it. It's sometimes we do get like that, and you need to. It's all right to sometimes just feel crap. It's all right to sometimes just feel low, to not be excited about anything or anything, right? And when you're feeling like that, it's okay to just chill out and just put anything on Netflix and watch that one TV show. I've watched Seinfeld 497 times in its entirety because it's just something that is on and is noise and is comforting. And it's okay. I don't have to like scramble to get out of that mood as quickly as possible. I know I'm just going to feel like it for a while, and then in a bit I won't. And it's just a case of sticking with it, of going through that and knowing that I will come out the other side. How long have you been diagnosed for? It was October-ish 2019 that BPD and MPD came up. I was already in group therapy at the time. What are you saying? My FP cheated on me before blocking me, but I know if he comes back, I'll take him back because he's my FP. Well, that's right. So, in cheating on you is nothing to do with him being your FP. That's to do with him being an asshole, right? That's not anything to do with you. You didn't do that. They did that. You taking them back and forgiving that's you. Boundaries. And people with BPD have trouble setting boundaries. We really do have trouble setting boundaries because we're afraid of being alone, of being abandoned, of doing something that people object to. And, you know, we will be taken advantage of in situations like this. And that's kind of what that is. And, you know, as a person to person, I wouldn't want to put up with someone cheating on me. That would be a cold, hard barrier. Done. That's that for me, right? That violates trust, and violating trust in that way is very difficult to come back from in a relationship. And so it's about being strong and saying, no, I have a thing. I have a boundary. And when someone kicks off, letting them kick off and leaving them to it. You have a boundary. That's it. What else are we saying here? I'm scared to go to therapy because I'm in a toxic relationship and I know I'll lose my FP if I do. What do you know? There's nothing I can say that isn't just a come on. There's a right thing to do, and sometimes you need that therapy. And if you can have the therapy for goodness sake. Asking me what type of therapy do I find helpful? I found group therapy helpful. I can't speak to anything else because I didn't do anything else. No, that's I tried DBT once, and that was immediately clear that for me that was not what was going to help me with my particular set of problems. Your mileage may vary, and I think it's just a case of, you know, there are lots of different therapies, there are lots of different treatments. Some will work for some people, others will work for others. If there was one thing that just worked, there wouldn't be lots of different therapies, would there? So I don't say that any of them are better or worth more or less than any other. I know what worked for me. That has no bearing on whether or not that will work for you. I wish I could say that it would. I do think it's my opinion everybody would benefit from having therapy. Like, go and have therapy if you can. I don't discourage anything. Um, but yeah, I don't like, people ask me about what therapy do I prefer and all that. I don't have a preference, and I'm not qualified to tell you what is good or bad. So I don't. That's it really. Speak to medical professionals, take their advice, do your own research into things, but ultimately at the end of the day there are trained professionals in this world who know far more than we can Google. That's the way to go with it. Sam says, I'm scared to get diagnosed. I understand. Do you need to be diagnosed? That's the other question. What would if you could have a piece of paper that says Sam has BPD on it, what would change? I would suggest that if you feel like you have BPD, then whether you do or you don't, you aren't feeling well. I'm guessing that seems a fairly reasonable assumption to make. And so you don't have to wait until something is BPD before you go and start having therapy. The group that I was in wasn't a BPD group. You see, it's you don't necessarily need a diagnosis outright. The therapy for me was talking, and it like, look at it like this: BPD has 9 markers. You need 5 of them to qualify as having BPD. What if you only have 4? Then you don't have BPD technically, but with 4 BPD markers, if you're carrying them, that's fucking horrible, right? That can be really distressing as a thing to live with. And so you can get help for that without needing someone to say, hey, you've got BPD. Because you might not have BPD, but you could still be living a painful existence for no reason. B says, I want to get back into therapy, but I can't afford it. It sucks. That really fucking sucks. Had I not had my therapy for free, I don't know that I'd have had my therapy. I'm obscenely lucky that it happened the way it did. That's been the biggest blessing of my adult life, that happened in that way, right? I don't know that I'd be sitting here talking to you in this way if I hadn't had it. Again, I think Lily B, I think I've got BPD 110%. How do I go about getting diagnosed? Again, see a GP. Start there. They will refer you to a specialist, to a psychiatric specialist, and go from there. It is scary. It is a scary thing. But right, the treatment isn't. It's not like some horrid invasive thing. It was talking, or it's DBT, or whatever. It doesn't come with needles. It doesn't come with a medicine that also makes you sick, or whatever. It's talking. And if what I had to do to get better was sit in a room with people for 3 years and talk to them for an hour and a half a week, then okay. I didn't have to have stitches, right? There are so many things that I've had in my life that were physically more of an encumbrance to deal with and were a worse healing process. So, getting better, getting over this stuff is totally a doable thing. And there's no reason why you can't do it. Honestly, like I did it. I'm here, still alive, with no suicidal ideation, significantly more functional than I used to be, and significantly calmer and nicer and more understanding and empathic and so many other things. I don't get rageful. I don't get so many bad things I used to experience. It's doable. It's fixable. And here I am. And if I've done it, you can do it. I'm not fucking special or whatever. I had therapy on the NHS. It wasn't, it's a thing we can all do. So that is the way of things. But I'm glad I could help Abby in the chat there. There's a lot to understand with it, isn't it? Go and check out my YouTube as well, because my YouTube has a lot more stuff on it compared to TikTok. Just so much more stuff compared to TikTok. So go and have a look at that. And hopefully you'll find a lot more stuff that can help you out. What is this annoying thing doing? Yeah, I'm proud of how far you've come. It gives me hope. I'm proud of all of you lot as well. Thank you for that. You can do it. Honestly. Like, I can't. This is why I get frustrated. You know the old saying, misery loves company? It frustrates me so much that the most popular videos that not only that I make, but that other content creators make about BPD, the ones that do the best, the ones that people like the most, talk the most about, all of that sort of thing, are the ones where we wallow, where we talk about, I feel so bad about this. And the truth is, we can also talk about all the things we do to get better, to feel better, to not have that sadness. And no one cares, no one listens, no one watches that, no one wants to know. That's the biggest challenge with it. This belief that it can't get better. Because it's bullshit. It's utter bullshit. We are made to feel like that. That was where my suicidal ideation came from, was this feeling that it will never stop, so I have to do something drastic to stop it. And that was bullshit. That was utter bullshit. There's so much you can do to make it better. So we can all go on this same journey. We can all do the same thing, you know? And I encourage you to do so. I encourage, feel better. There. Do more, feel better. That's it. I feel this on so many levels. Me too. This week I'm going blonde, getting a tan, and getting my nipples pierced. I'm feeling impulsive. I don't know how to refer to you, person in the chat room, because your name is just 3 emojis. Oh, sad ass bitch. That's your there. Hello. Fair enough. I won't be doing those things this week, but you know. The pierced nipples thing wouldn't do for me. It's not, again, it's not, I wouldn't look better like that. It's a look I can appreciate on others. But I would not look better than that. Blonde. Now there's a... No. I'm kind of okay with how I look at the moment. There are things I would tweak. I am now 44 years old and I don't like that. And there are certainly bits that are a symptom of being 44 years old that I don't like. But I don't know. I have that narcissistic sort of. That's an interesting one. Maybe that's why I never changed my appearance drastically. I'm too narcissistic about what I am in the first place, right? I don't just have BPD. I have BPD and MPD, and that narcissism is making me feel pretty good about who I am without changing stuff. And so I've never felt the need to do stuff. I would change stuff to look better. I would definitely do that, right? Everything is done with that in mind. But that's why pierced nipples are off the list, you know? Because that's not making this better, right? Also, then you've got to do stuff where people are like, ooh, pierced nipples. And I don't know. That would mean I'd have to be topless somewhere where pierced nipples were in some way appreciated. And while I'm totally not averse to being in that kind of environment for reasons that we'll talk about on members' videos, patreon.com/earlymorningbarking, I'm not of that. I'm not the other end of the thing. I'm just going to be vague there and leave you with that. I'll let you think about what I just said. Ghost T, I've taken the first steps to get better and now I've got a psychiatrist tomorrow. Excellent. Congratulations. That first step, every journey starts with a single step. Is that from Karate Kid or Lord of the Rings? Or it's just like an old proverb that I've picked up. I'm probably quoting Karate Kid. I personally think you should get your eyebrow and lip pierced. Someone else has said eyebrow to me, but it's not happening. It's not happening. I fell into the conservative kink category. That was what my girlfriend said. Anyway. Are the highs and the lows always going to be so extreme it's scary? I don't think so. Again, my highs and lows have been a lot. It's like you're swinging and it settles down and eventually you get in the middle. You know, that so if things do settle down. Question: did you let your family and friends know about your diagnosis? Yeah, I'll let everybody know. Also, I made a YouTube channel and a TikTok about it, so it got out. No one has been upset with me about it. The general I've encountered members of the general public who've been upset with me simply for saying I am a narcissist. I have narcissistic personality disorder. There have been, that's been a thing. But in terms of actual real life people, family and friends, and that sort of thing, no one gave a shit. No one cared. My mum looked into it for her own interests. My sister looked into it and went, "Oh, hey, that." And my dad went, "No, can't hear you. No, nothing to do with anything in childhood. Blah, no, and all of that." And then of my friends, no one really gave a shit. No one cared. Some would listen to me talk about it more than others would, but no one cared. Get a perm. It's not 1975. I'm not getting a perm. Why would I get a perm? A perm's back? Fuck off. No one ever... The 70s shouldn't come back. There was a whole decade of human history where no one looked good. Why would we bring that? Men especially. There are women in the 70s, okay, I can totally get behind. That's fine. But men throughout the 1970s, particularly in Britain, did not look good. Not a single one of us ever at all. I wasn't there, but no. So don't bring back perms. Don't put them on men. Thinking about taking the first step to recovery is the first step of recovery. That's a fair point. So if you've taken if you're actually getting as far as going to see a psychiatrist, then you're way beyond the first step. You've taken steps. You see, there you go. That's awesome. Perms and mullets are a big thing again. Fuck off. No, they're not. No, they're not. I am not that out of touch, and the world isn't that stupid. V the Delusion, what country are you living in right now? I'm wondering if you're British or American. Or Canadian. Or Australian. Where are perms and mullets a big thing? Because I have not seen perms and mullets out on those streets. You're British too. Okay. Yeah, they've not made it to Keighley yet. And Keighley's full of the kind of people who would have perms and mullets. Really? I don't like it here. I don't hate it here. It's big in England and I don't believe you. I'm Google. I don't believe you. Are perms back? The perm is the comeback trend of 2022. I sit here like an idiot, corrected. I should bullet right. I now trust you. There we go. But that's for ladies. That's not for men. It's not good for men. Guys, don't get a perm. Don't get a perm. Go near a college or uni, you'll be in a sea of them. The judge says I'm not to. Heaps of people have them in Australia too. Okay. Who am I to account for taste? I grew up in look, my teenage years happened at a time when I think fashionably dressed people were sensibly dressed. In the late 90s, we wore shirts and trousers and boots, and like it was fine. It was fine. And that stuff's that I see in shops, right? Flannel shirts, Ben Sherman shirts, all of that. Mid to late 90s Oasis stuff. It's all coming back. That's fine. I have not seen perms and mullets. Alternative people have mullets. Alternative people. Oh, those people. But these people, no, the alternative ones. Yeah. Mouse says, I love your channel. Thank you, Mouse. Thank you. I'm going to have to go and eat something soon. What time is it? God, it's 7:45. I can't just do this all night, can I? Or can I? This is actually still putting off a main channel video, which I was supposed to be doing. I brought up the list of possible topics. What I do is, people ask, where do you get your ideas? How do you think of episodes to do? Generally, I'm crap at that, right? If someone asks a question and it's a good question, that's fucking amazing. Because there are times I get episodes out of comments, right? That's amazing when that happens. But other times, I will actually sit and make a list of video subjects to do on my YouTube. And then I'll look at this list and look at everything on it and go, I don't feel like doing anything on there, really. They were all shit ideas. And then I don't do a video. That's a stumbling block. Do you want the list of what I'm working with here? We have a what they don't tell you about therapy, which is still a good idea, but I need to plan that. I need to sit and figure out what they don't tell you about therapy. Do narcissists see others as narcissists? Didn't I do that one? I feel like I did that one. Does the narcissist... No. Can narcissists be loyal? Yeah, that could be one. That could actually be one. Do narcissists see others as narcissists? What type of people do narcissists attract? I don't know. How do you tell if a narcissist loves you? I don't know. These are all shit ideas. What does a narcissist love look like? Where did I get... Do you know what? I got these all off Google. Can a narcissist have one true love? No. Can you be aware of your own BPD? There's not much to say about that. Like, yes, you can be aware of your own BPD. What does undiagnosed BPD feel like? Like diagnosed BPD, but slightly more confusing. I can't do 10 minutes on that. What does undiagnosed BPD feel like? All the other, it doesn't change. Why did I write these? How do you make someone with BPD happy? Cash. Cash is good. PayPal, other bank transfers. I'd accept crypto transfers, to be honest. All kinds of things like that. I do need a new car. I'm interested in the Xbox Series S. Sorry, Series X. There's a number of ways you can make people with BPD happy. We can become more obscene over that as well, but I have someone to take care of that. What do BPD episodes look? These are all shit ideas for videos. What do BPD episodes look like? How can you tell if someone has BPD? I could maybe get something out of that. That's just a how do you tell if you have BPD? That's a looking at Marker's video. Or how do you calm down a BPD trigger? Again, cash helps. Right? If I was upset about anything and somebody went, here's 50 grand, I'd chill out. No one's ever cared enough to try that. And that hurts me. That, you know, you think you're loved, and yet no one has ever offered me £50,000 when I've been having a temper tantrum. No one's cared. It's sad, isn't it? So those are some of the things I'm trying to pick as video titles. Matt says, I have BPD and your channel has really helped me understand more than anything. You're very welcome. I hope you're going okay. Yeah, via the delusion. Real money. Yeah, honestly, that's if you want to make a person with BPD feel better. My car is going to die soon. I am so poor. There. It's so common for people to have BPD these days. It's crazy. It's going to be a mix of things. Yeah, lots of... Will everyone who says I have BPD have BPD? I don't know. Probably not. Probably not. But we're going to have a mix of more people being diagnosed, with more people being aware, with more people being able to talk about it, and that sort of thing. Things with mental health problems generally over the last sort of decade or so, people have become more diagnosed with them. And of that, again, some people genuinely do. Some people self-diagnose and don't know what they're talking about. Some people are just looking for an explanation for something. All that stuff. It's a tricky one. It is a tricky one. So yeah, I'm just playing with something. There we go. Right, real money diagnosed 2 weeks ago. Got diagnosed 2 weeks with BPD, I'm assuming. So yeah, welcome to the journey. We're not going alone. It's good. Yeah. There might be. I don't know that necessarily people are out like lying about having it. Right? I think if I don't know, maybe. Look, I don't put anything I don't put anything past people, right? But that's a weird one, isn't it? Like, if you're gonna, of all the things you can fake to try and garner attention on social media platforms, on video platforms, how much attention do you think any of us are getting from BPD? Right? What am I at? On YouTube, I have 2,484 subscribers. That's what I have right now. On TikTok, I've just passed 15,000 followers, which is great. Um, but yeah, that's not exact. It's not PewDiePie, and no amount of being good at what I'm doing is going to push me to that level. I understand that. That's what you're talking about mental health. I'm in a niche here, so if I were going to do something to just try and be huge on YouTube or whatever, this is not what I'd do. I don't know what I would do, but it wouldn't be this. Um, and arguably, yes, someone who lies about having a mental health disorder means they have a mental health disorder. That's potentially correct. I feel. I don't know. Um, it's one of those things. So I'm getting messaged on TikTok, which I didn't know was a thing that could happen until a few days ago. Yeah, it's one of those things. Start playing Among Us and saying slurs, you'll be famous. That's it. I'm amazed that I've not said anything offensive on YouTube yet. I've been on there for a long time. I've only been doing TikTok properly for a couple of months, to be honest. But I'm surprised I've not said anything bad. I said some awful shit on podcasts over the years. Because for those of you who don't know, I ran a podcast network for 15 years before doing this. There's hundreds of hours of podcasts of me out there, and if you talk that much for that long, you are gonna say something dumb at some point. And I said stuff that I've said some things that would probably have become offensive since I said them that weren't offensive at the time. But I probably said some stuff that was fucking offensive when I said it, and has only just gotten worse. And I'm kind of surprised that nothing has come up. Whatever. I do still do our podcast, technically. It is nothing like what I used to do. There is an early morning barking podcast. You can find it where all good podcasts are collected. Whatever. iTunes, Spotify. But it's like this. Right? It's not what I used to do. How do I show you what I used to do? I think my SoundCloud is still there. Where is my SoundCloud? What is on my SoundCloud? Right, if you go to SoundCloud, tech support Rich is my username. There's lots of old podcasts on there from years ago. If you really want to watch or listen to anything, there are so many I miss doing, and I wish I could do again. But the people I did them with aren't that interested in doing them. That's the thing. Do you want to try something crazy? Let's see if this works. Where are we? Let's do some fancy TikToks. Can you see that? Did that work? Yeah. I'm gonna get you cancelled. Yeah, whatever. This is the thing. So, oh yeah, it works. Look at that. Oh, we are doing some futuristic TikTok streaming now. That's Early Morning Barking Podcast, which has just been. I don't do anything with this page. I've had it for years, which is why I have 804,000 followers. Right? I kind of got a big push because I was an early person on SoundCloud. I've been around that long. I'm that old, right? And when they launched, they gave hosting to all of my networks podcasting, and they put me and some of the accounts in like when you sign up to a thing and it goes, hey, you should follow these people. I was one of those people. And it's kind of just stayed there at 800 plus thousand followers for years. But I think these not real accounts by and large. I don't get hundreds of thousands of plays or anything like that. So I don't do anything with this. So it has that on there, but I also, going back, gaming news, Simply Syndicated gaming news. Shaken Not Stirred about Bond movies. Make It So. The world's first Star Trek podcast. Movies you should see. Remote Patrol. That's a Quantum Leap show. It was awful. Movie quiz again. Loved doing that show. Would love to do a movie quiz show again. That would be great. And there were loads of shows. This is honestly, this is just like a small selection of stuff that I did for years and years and years. Like the movie news thing had its own thing. Simply Syndicated has its own thing. Yeah. That's what I did. I don't do that anymore. So there you go. If someone cared enough, that is there. But honestly, it's all fine. So there we go. Oh, I'm getting messages. I'm still no close to deciding what I was going to do for a video. I should go eat. You're absolutely. I should. Let's see. It's been so long since I've had a takeaway, which I cannot afford to do, but fuck it. Is basically what I think. Because I'm not going to do it otherwise. I need to, it's one of those, sometimes I get into this state, I need somebody to sort of turn up and put food in my hand, and then I'll eat it. That's generally what needs to happen. Oh, we're going to Papa Don's. I think that's, let's go to Papa Don's. That's how this is going. I can't believe I'm doing a takeaway order live on TikTok. This is the future, isn't it? This right? Some people are just showing you photos of food when it arrives. I'm going to take you one step beyond this into the ordering process. Anyone can do it the other way. I'm going to be really, it's just a huge kebab. That's what's coming. I know. Let's browse the menu. Oh, or are we in a pizza kind of place? Oh, now then, that raises an interesting issue, doesn't it? Hmm. Do you know, I don't know. I am in more of a pizza place. I'll be honest with you. And I see something in a meat feast coming on. There we go. There we go. And that one's too big. Let's get the one that's too big. And then, where are chips? I want chips. That will do. What are we up to? £9, and it won't be £9. I'm not ordering pop. What time is it where you are? It's 7 in the morning for me. It's 8 p.m. in Keighley, UK. I'm guessing you're in Australia. Don't know why my suddenly went off there. I don't know what times I have on my watch. New York, Los Angeles. Is that Sydney? 7 a.m. There we go. Rumbled. Well, let's go to the checkout, and I will keep talking to you guys for a little bit longer, but I am eventually going to go and eat this. I'm not eating takeaway live on stream. That's just gross. So we're gonna. Oh, they have Google Pay now. I don't have Google Pay. Or do I? Probably do. You know what? 12.40. I can't afford that. Let's just do it anyway. And then, why do I have to confirm every transaction on my phone? before it will do it these days. We are way off not talking about BPD and MPD. If you just joined to talk about BPD and MPD, apparently that's out the fucking window now, but there you go. We can keep going. And hopefully when they come, they really won't be long. They're usually about 10-15 minutes. So we'll come towards the end. And I'll figure out something to do. There will be a video tonight. I might even do another live stream later, to be perfectly honest. So stick around. But that one will be later. I might be on YouTube. So go and follow me on YouTube. I realize I'm only speaking to a couple of people now. But yeah, go and follow the YouTube channel Early Morning Barking, because that's generally where I do. Like I don't know. This is like my 4th or 5th TikTok live, and it's actually much more fun than doing it on YouTube. But I should still do some on YouTube. Yay, Papa Don's confirm my delivery. They're not coming at 8:45. They'll be here soon. They're very close. I live near town. And hopefully he'll ring the fucking doorbell. I'm looking up, can I swear on TikTok? Last updated January 5th, 2023. Okay, can you swear on TikTok? One of the most controversial and confusing topics when it comes to TikTok is whether or not swearing is permitted. Swearing is not officially banned on TikTok. It will not result in a community guidelines violation, nor will it cause your video to get taken down. The only exception to this is use of racial slurs or any other terms that are targeted against specific groups of people. Well, that's fine. So swearing or cussing is allowed. Why do so many people self-censor? It comes down to suppression. While TikTok may outright delete videos that contain swear words, it's believed these videos may be heavily suppressed, not showing up as frequently on people's For You pages. Wow. Okay. That's why we do it then. But this is a live stream, so hopefully we'll see. Maybe I swore on something, and that's why my latest TikTok's not doing great. Is the dog on your PFP your dog? May we see it? He is my dog. I have no dog to show you right now. He is shared between me and my ex, and he's currently with her. Because obviously we got him when we were together. So no, that is my dog Paisley. And he's with me sometimes, and sometimes he's not. So it's never enough. And it's sad for him that we aren't all together still. Weren't like when we got him, but he sees both of us, and he spends plenty of nights here, and we go on runs and stuff like that. Which reminds me, I need to book him a dog field to go for a run in, because he'll be desperate for that. Which is one of those things. So I need to get that sorted. But yeah, that's my dog. He's Paisley. He's a big black lab. He's 155 pounds of cuddles and destruction is what he is. He's amazing. He's awesome. And but he's nuts. He's absolutely nuts. He's not good with other dogs. He's very fear-based aggression stuff, all kinds of stuff. But he's also lovely. That's where he is. That's our Paisley. So he's great. So I am gonna wrap this up now. Thank you for watching, everybody. It's been a fun live to do. Like I say, I might do another one later. We'll see how it goes now. Or it might be on YouTube. Go and check out YouTube. Set up alerts, ring bells, do all of that sort of thing, and make sure you don't miss anything. So you take care. I will see you later. Bye bye.